Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to be going through a pretty basic question, but one that's definitely still fair game for coding interviews. So I'm going to be talking about how a C program goes from its source code to its executable file, so something that we can actually run on our operating system. So I'm going to be just giving a basic overview of compiling and linking. Alright, so we got our C source code here. Basically all it does is it prints hello world, and it's got three different files. So it's got our main file, it's got a header file that contains the function that actually does the work, and then the .c file that actually has the function itself. Alright, so how the heck does it go from this to actually running this function on our operating system? So obviously first we got our source code, which we just typed up, so it's a user generated, and it looks a little something like this, seeing as it's C++, or C in this case. So then we got our preprocessor. So the C preprocessor, basically what that does is that goes through our code and looks at any C macros that we have. So pretty much pound includes, or pound defines, or this if and f right here. So basically anything with a pound sign, it'll go through and replace that with the actual C code itself. All right, same here. And we'll get a C preprocessed file that looks something like this. So it'll have a .i extension. And then we have our actual compiler come in, so GCC or G++ or Clang, and what that'll do is that'll produce an assembly file. So that'll be, so basically we're getting closer and closer to like the binary file that we get at the end. And so that produces a .s file, and that's entirely in machine language or assembly. Alright? So then we have our assembler come in, and that basically takes our .s files and turns it into .o files, so object files. And those will look something like this. Okay, so at this point, our object files, we're basically going to get three different files for these three different guys right here. So, I'm sorry, we'll actually get two different files, so for one for main and one for hello world. And these files typically have holes in them, so we have not yet linked these three files into one, full executable file that we can actually run. And that's where our linker comes in. Alright, so our linker basically takes our object files and fills in the holes, so to speak, to form a final executable file. So if we're on Unix, the default name, if you don't specify, is a.out. Or we might want to specify the name, or if we're in Windows, it'll produce a .exe file. All right, so just to give it a little example here, if we want to take a look at the object files that are produced when we compile our program, so I'm using GCC. Sorry, just for consistency. Okay, so let's take a look at our directory. These are basically the .o files that I was talking about, so the object files that are all written in assembly code. All right, so basically that's done by specifying the .c, or -c marker. But if we want to skip that altogether and just go to our executable, we basically omit that. And like I said, we get our executable. And if we run that, we get our function. Alright, so that's just a basic overview of how we go from source code to an actual executable file from in our C program. Alright, so hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.